Raiders ignore complicated player profile to sign him, taking into consideration his talent. An injury to the teammate 3 receivers of the team puts everything at risk, and the Raiders would be left with little space to have Adams and this player. Would Pierce know how to deal with this situation? Some say yes. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Continuing. Going back to owner Al Davis, this franchise has always been willing to overlook personal weaknesses if a player has some talent. And despite falling apart in recent years, Thomas has talent. That's the notion on Bleacher Report, where it's being suggested that Thomas could rebuild what's left of his career with the Raiders. He's 31, so his days of leading the league in receptions, he did it twice and set an NFL record for catches with 149 in 2019, and yards, he did it once, are behind him. But he could be a risk worth taking for the Raiders. Right now, of all the needs the Raiders have for 2024, receiver is on the lower end. Star Davante Adams is still the main man, and Jacoby Myers has proven to be a more than adequate number 2. There's some excitement about Trey Tucker, too, after he finished his rookie season strong with 11 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his last 4 games. But the Raiders' receiving room lacks depth beyond those 3, and an injury could create a good risk. So Thomas, who signed a 5-year, $96 million contract in 2019, makes some sense. As the folks at BR wrote, is there any risk in bringing another target dominant like Michael Thomas to a roster that already has Davante Adams? Sure. But if the fact that Thomas remains unsigned as we head into the first week of the season hasn't humbled the former Saints star, then it's going to be tough for him to have a second act in his career. The Raiders will try to build a competitive offense with Gardner Minshew, and that will require the best supporting cast possible. If there's any hope that Thomas can get healthy and be anything close to what he once was, he could help a weak Raiders receiving core. The bigger issue for the Raiders, much more than depth at receiver, is whether Minshew can handle the quarterback job. He signed as a free agent this offseason, then beat out Aiden O'Connell for the starting role, but he's played just 2 full seasons as a starter. First for 12 games as a rookie in Jacksonville, then again last year for 13 games in Indianapolis. Minshew is 15-22 as a starter in his career. He led the Colts to a 7-6 record as a starter last season, averaging 194.4 passing yards with an 84.6 quarterback rating. He finished with 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. With the Raiders, Minshew figures to have the best receiving core he's ever had. Adding Thomas would make that much better. Either way, the hope is that the improved supporting cast will produce more consistent results for Minshew this time around.